What if you didn't have to check your bank account every time you wanted to say yes to something you truly wanted? What if your time, your energy, and your choices were actually yours again? You know, financial independence isn't just about money. It's about the freedom. Some people call it financial independence, some people call it financial freedom, some people call it FU money, but it's about the freedom to do what you want. It's about the freedom to allow you to say yes to life, and that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot of people describe financial independence as passive income pays for your expenses, but that's not even close to the definition of financial independence, and it's definitely not the definition of financial freedom. I think that they have to be the same thing. Once you reach financial independence, it has to be financial freedom. If you still have to check your bank account every time somebody wants to invite you on a fishing trip, or you want to go buy a new power tool. I just had to buy new power tools. They're very expensive here in Spain. Every time you have to look at your bank account to try to figure out if you can afford those things, you're not free financially. So reaching financial independence, it's about the freedom that it gives you. And we're going to talk today about how that gives you the opportunity to say yes to opportunities in life. The last year, or just this year, the last 5 months has opened up a lot of opportunities to me. I'm finally allowing myself to say yes to more things because even though I'd reached financial independence, I hadn't really reached financial freedom because I was still worrying about money a lot more than I needed to. So imagine if you could say yes to anything you wanted. Like, what would you say yes to? Would it be a new car, which I think would be the worst thing to say yes to, unless maybe it's some sort of a hot rod you've been dreaming about having. But if you could say yes to anything and money wasn't an object, what would you say yes to? Would it be travel? Would it be cars? Would it be houses? Would it be taking your friends on a trip with you? Leave me a comment down below and let me know, just think for a minute about what would the power of yes give you that you don't have right now? And tell me in the comments down below what that would be. You know, a lot of people in the FIRE movement, I don't know how much people use that term anymore. I'm sure they still do. Maybe I'm just out of the loop a little bit. But the people pursuing financial independence and financial freedom, they talk about aggressively saving and like minimalism and like depriving yourself of things. And that's not what this whole exercise is about. If I wanted to contrast my pre-financial independence life to my post-financial independence life, I mean, in some ways there's huge differences, in some ways there's not. We're all kind of the same mindset We're all kind of the same mindset. Those of us trying to reach financial independence, those of us trying to retire early, we are on the frugal side. We do like to hit the happy hours and order off the a la carte menu at the Mexican restaurant.
What did you order?
Something Texan Bucheras.
And we do like to try to save a little bit of money and maybe buy the same black t-shirts to wear every single day because it's easy and cheap. But on the other side, I would never deprive myself of a lot of things that I wanted to try to reach financial independence, of financial freedom. I still traveled. I come to Europe. That's how I'm in Spain right now. If you haven't been watching my other videos, I don't know if you can see it back there. That's my new house I just bought in Spain. But we've traveled internationally a lot for the last 10 years, ever since I met my wife. She's from Spain, and I was never a big traveler. She turned me onto this, but I was always a thing person. I bought a big jacked up 4-wheel drive van. I bought dune buggies. I bought a 1971 Cougar convertible. I had a lot of cool cars and things back in the day. So we all have our little splurges and our little indulgences that we like to give ourselves. I always say you have to have fun along the way, along the journey to financial independence. But the difference is once you're trying to get there and once you're finally there, I've been here for a couple of years now. We moved down to the Virgin Islands for a couple of years, tried out retirement down there. That's when I started doing YouTube channels. But I think now that we're in Spain, or not even that we're in Spain, this year since January, I guess we bought the house in January, even though we didn't move here till May. Sorry for the little kind of stream of consciousness here. But let me just tell you a couple of things that I've been able to do this year. We spent the last 2 weeks of December and the first 2 weeks of January here in Spain, house hunting, where we bought this house that you may or may not be able to see over there. And so that was a month of travel. And then in February, I went on a 3-day deep sea fishing trip for tuna with an old college buddy of mine. And that was not cheap. It was a couple $1,000s to go. We stayed on the boat. We went out and spent the night on the boat for a couple of nights and caught as much tuna as we could. That was in February. And then in March, I think in March we did a 10-day sailing trip around the British Virgin Islands. I'll put a little bit of B-roll in here while I'm speaking. But a friend of my wife's, we used to live, like I said, we lived in the Virgin Islands, and someone my wife worked with texted her and said, y'all want to go on a 10-day sailing trip around the British Virgin Islands? And we were like, yes, we do. And in 10 minutes, we booked plane tickets and we said, we're committed, we're in, let's go, we're doing this thing. And like, it kind of blew their mind that they like said, you guys want to do this? It's pretty expensive. We're on a 50-foot yacht for 10 days and sailing around the Caribbean. It's not a cheap trip. We didn't have to look at our bank account and say like, okay, like, can we afford this? Like, we just said yes. Like, these are when opportunities, like when your buddy says you want to go 3 days offshore and catch the biggest tuna of your life, and you can just say yes, that's amazing. When somebody says you want to go on a 10-day sailing trip around the British Virgin Islands, and you just say yes, and you book a ticket, and you text them back and you say our plane tickets are booked. We found an Airbnb. We'll see you in 2 weeks. That's amazing. And when you say, let's go live in Spain for 5 months, and you don't have to worry about the consequences of how much the health insurance is going to cost to carry health insurance in the US and health insurance in Spain. We're renting a car. I don't know if you can see it. We're renting a little Mini Cooper over there for 5 months. And like, those are life experiences that when you have to check the bank account and you have to pinch the pennies and you have to worry about every dollar, that you're just missing out on. And when you have the freedom to do those things, to say yes to those opportunities, that is the true freedom of financial independence. I'd like to also mention the power of yes also gives you the power of no, which isn't what this video is about, but it's important. It's an important point to make. Remember the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey? I'm going to put a quick clip in here because it's hilarious.
Yes. No. You say no to life, and therefore you're not living. Every time an opportunity presents itself, you will say... yes.
He had to say yes to everything because he was a no man. He said no to everything. I like to say a little bit our relationship, my wife and I's relationship is a little like that because I'm a dreamer. I'm an entrepreneurial mind. I come up with a new business idea every day and I come up with crazy ideas and I'm just like always, I'm foot on the gas and she's my brakes and she says no a lot. But financial independence also gives you the power to say no to things that you don't want to do. It can give you, like, you can reach, a lot of people reach financial independence and stay in their jobs. But then when you realize you're in a toxic work environment, you can say, no, you know what? I want to exit this situation. When you have clients that you don't want to work with, you can say, you know what? Maybe you need to find someone else. I've done this with my real estate career. After I didn't need the money of selling houses anymore and I could work with people I liked, I've had multiple clients that I was like, you know what? I think that your personality might gel better with this other person in my office, and I just turned them over to someone else because I don't need to work with people that I don't enjoy working with. And it's really great to tell a client, you know what, I don't think this is working out anymore. Or maybe the environment that you're living in isn't providing you the joy that you thought it was. Hence my house here in Spain. We needed some new adventure. We needed to have the mountains. We needed hiking. I needed fly fishing. There's a fly fishing stream. I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear the stream running by my property down there. So we needed some new adventures and boom, here it is. The power to say yes. The power to say yes to buying a house in Spain. The power to say yes to going and sailing around the Virgin Islands. This has been an amazing year and it's only May. Who knows what else this year? Well, I know one thing. I'm going to France in a week. I'm going to go spend a couple days in France. We're going to do a big loop. Like, I'm only like 54 kilometers from the border of France, and we're going to smuggle the rental car and go do a little tour of France here. So who knows what else I'm going to be able to say yes to, but I got actually invited on this trip to France, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I do want to go on this trip to France. I got a buddy of mine who lives in Alaska, who's coming to do a motorcycle tour through the Pyrenees Mountains, through France. And I was like, bro, come down, hit me up. Come hang out with me. He's like, well, I got my girlfriend in Barcelona. I was like, send your girlfriend up here, have her stay at my house. There's all kinds of things we're just saying yes to, and it's amazing. I'd like to also add a caveat in here as I drink my rosé. It's not about having millions and millions of dollars. Oh, my microphone's over here. This bottle of rosé that I bought costs like €2.10, and it's pretty dang good. This is the first time I'm trying it. You know, you don't have to have millions and millions of dollars. You don't have to have $300,000 of passive income coming in to live these lifestyles. We definitely don't have that. I just did a video. I'll link it to it at the end, but I just did a video about how much my rental properties make. We're affording this lifestyle with 5 rental properties that we own. So you don't have to have 500 rental properties. You don't have to have $20 million in the bank. Financial independence isn't just for bazillionaires. It's for people who know how to live within their means, but live well within your means. Not well within your means, well within your means. Financial independence gives you options, not obligations. So again, tell me what you would like. If you could say yes to anything, tell me what kind of things you're dreaming about. Why are you on the path to financial independence? A lot of people just say they want to quit their job, but all these things I'm talking about, this life that I have here in Spain and all these wonderful things I've been able to do this year, I don't think people talk enough about the power of yes that financial independence gives you. So tell me some things you're dreaming about the power of yes giving you down there in the comments. Thank you for watching. Go watch this video if you want to see how I retired on my 5 rental properties. If you've already seen that video, go poke around, find another video. I'm sure there's something else you'll be interested in. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and we'll see you in the next video.